The USS George H.W. Bush is certified, armed, crewed and waiting at Naval Station Norfolk. It has completed every training requirement the United States Navy demands before a carrier goes to war. The reports confirm that the strike group is expected to deploy soon and head to the eastern Mediterranean. The Navy's own confirmed language is precise. The Bush is ready to deploy if called upon. The order has not yet been publicly announced, but every confirmed indicator in this war points in one direction. The third carrier is coming. You may wonder, what exactly is USS George H.W. Bush, why its arrival in theatre is a confirmed operational necessity, and what a third nuclear carrier in this war means for Iran, for the Strait of Hormuz, and for every government watching from the outside. The USS George H.W. Bush is CVN 77, the 10th and final ship of the Nimitz class, commissioned in 2009. It is named for the 41st president, who was himself a naval aviator. George H.W. Bush received his wings at 18 years old, flew TBF Avenger torpedo bombers off the USS San Jacinto in the Pacific, and was shot down on September 2nd, 1944, parachuting into the ocean before being rescued by a US submarine. The ship that carries his name weighs more than 100,000 tons, is powered by two A4W nuclear reactors, and stretches 332 meters from bow to stern. It carries Carrier Air Wing 7, F/A-18E and F/A-18F, Super Hornets for strike and air superiority, EA-18G Growlers for electronic warfare and radar suppression, and E-2D Advanced Hawkeye aircraft providing 550-kilometer airborne radar coverage and real-time battle management. Its confirmed strike group escort includes 4 Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyers, the USS Gonzales, USS Mason, USS Ross and USS Donald Cook, each equipped with Aegis combat systems and vertical launch cells carrying Tomahawk cruise missiles, SM-6 interceptors and SM-3 ballistic missile interceptors. The Bush also carries something no other carrier in this theatre has, an unmanned air warfare centre installed in 2024, the first of its kind on any US carrier, enabling drone operations and future MQ-25 Stingray unmanned tanker control directly from the flight deck. The certification the Bush completed on March 5th is not routine. CompTUX, Composite Training Unit Exercise, is the most complex integrated training event in the US Joint Force, and the specific requirement that every carrier strike group must complete before it is certified for national tasking in combat operations. Rear Admiral Alexis Walker, commander of Carrier Strike Group 10, confirmed in official statement, CompTUX is the certification event for the strike group to let us know we are ready for major combat operations around the world. It brings the entire strike group team together and enables us to operate as we would when we're forward deployed. Commanding Officer Captain Robert Bibot confirmed the crew's readiness in terms that left nothing ambiguous. He said, "This ship exists for one purpose, to project decisive combat power wherever our nation requires it." He said, "The crew has trained to the highest standards." He said, "We know our fellow service members are operating in harm's way right now." And he said, "Our job is to ensure that when they need us, whether for air superiority, strike, electronic warfare or presence, we are ready to deliver immediately and without hesitation." Both statements are confirmed. Both were issued on March 5th, the same day the USS Gerald R. Ford transited the Suez Canal into the Red Sea. The reason the Bush's confirmed readiness is strategically urgent comes down to one ship and one number. The Ford has been at sea for 258 days. Vice Chief of Naval Operations Admiral Jim Kilby confirmed to the Senate Armed Services Committee this week that the Ford's deployment will ultimately extend to 11 months, which has the potential to set the record for the longest US Navy carrier deployment ever recorded. The current record belongs to the USS Midway, which deployed in April 1972 for Operation Linebacker during the Vietnam War and did not return until March 1973, 332 days at sea. The Ford left Norfolk on June 24, 2025. If it stays through May, it passes that record. A carrier operating at maximum combat tempo for 9 months, now pushing toward 11, moving south through the Red Sea toward the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, while flying the most intense US air campaign since the war began. That is not a carrier at peak operational effectiveness. It is a carrier being stretched toward the limit of what its crew and its systems can sustain. The Bush's confirmed readiness is the confirmed operational answer to that confirmed operational problem. The Ford needs relief or reinforcement. The Bush is the only carrier currently certified and available to provide it. The Bush's own confirmed history through this conflict period adds context. In January 2026, as the US military build-up ahead of the Iran confrontation accelerated, the Bush was expected to deploy to the Middle East, but the Abraham Lincoln and the Gerald R. Ford went instead. The Bush was deployed to the Caribbean in January when US forces conducted operations against Venezuela. In February, it began COMPTUEX training in the Western Atlantic as Iran nuclear negotiations collapsed for the final time. It completed that training on March 5th, 5 days after the war it was originally positioned to join had already started. Fox News confirmed on March 7th that it is expected to head to the eastern Mediterranean, where the Ford operated during the conflict's first 5 days before transiting Suez. The Times of Israel confirmed the same reporting. The Navy's confirmed language at Norfolk is ready to deploy if called upon, not en route, not departed, certified, armed and standing by for the order. The strategic weight of a third carrier in this theatre is confirmed by the numbers it changes. The United States operates 11 aircraft carriers total. 2 are already committed to this conflict, the Ford in the Red Sea, the Abraham Lincoln in the Arabian Sea. When the Bush deploys, more than a quarter of the entire US carrier fleet will be concentrated in a single regional theatre. That has not happened since the Iraq War in 2003. The additional Arleigh Burke destroyers the Bush's strike group brings arrive with full vertical launch cells, replenishing the theatre's confirmed depleted interceptor inventory at the moment it is most needed. Secretary Rubio confirmed the Patriot and interceptor expenditure rate has exceeded production replenishment capacity. The Bush's 4 destroyers carry hundreds of additional SM-6 and SM-3 interceptors. The additional Tomahawk cells and aviation strike ordnance extend the campaign's offensive sustainment window. At the exact moment General Kane confirmed the campaign is entering its deepest industrial targeting phase, hitting not just launchers but the factories behind them. And the Unmanned Air Warfare Center aboard the Bush introduces a confirmed new capability, drone-integrated carrier aviation, that no carrier deck in this theatre has yet deployed. 3 carriers, more than a quarter of the US fleet in one theatre. A Ford that has been at sea for 258 days, heading toward a deployment record. A theatre burning through interceptors faster than they can be built. A campaign that just entered its deepest targeting phase. An Iranian supreme leader who has not been seen in public since his appointment 2 days ago. A Strait of Hormuz with 150 ships anchored outside it waiting for a ceasefire that has not been announced. The Bush is at Norfolk. It is certified, it is crewed. Fox News confirmed it is expected to deploy soon. When the order comes, and every confirmed indicator in this war suggests it is a question of timing, not decision, the third carrier's arrival in the eastern Mediterranean will close the question of whether Washington intends to sustain this campaign to its stated conclusion. Trump called it a short excursion on Monday. He threatened to strike 20 times harder on the same evening. The Bush being certified and waiting at Norfolk while the Ford pushes toward the longest US carrier deployment since Vietnam is the operational answer to both statements simultaneously. This war has a third carrier ready. The only question confirmed unanswered is the date it leaves the pier.